Hello students, we are in the module number 2 and we are going to discuss about the corrosion chapter. Here module 2 includes corrosion and metal finishing. So first we will start with the corrosion chapter, later we can go for metal finishing, and in this today's session we will be discussing about the electrochemical theory of corrosion and types of corrosion. Okay, fine. So you should have heard the word corrosion, right? Okay, what is this corrosion? Corrosion is a destruction or deterioration of a metal when it is exposed to atmospheric air or oxygen and moisture. Okay, you can just throw some metals, few metals, gold, iron. Okay, so what will happen to gold? Nothing will be happening. And what will happen to the iron? Iron will get corroded easily, right? So you can just imagine the corrosion will be happening to the metals which are reacting more. Okay, here what is happening in the case of gold, it is least reactive, right? Compared to iron, it is least reactive. So if you throw somewhere also, nothing will be happening if you see after few years. Okay, the same thing when it comes to iron. Iron is, yes, of course it is reactive. Okay, so when it is getting affected with the air and moisture from the atmosphere, it will get corroded. Okay, you can say in other way also, like what did we studied in metallurgy? Metallurgy, like the ore will be in the form of anything, right? Sulfide ores, oxide ores, etc. Okay, what are we doing there? We are processing the metal, right? Then we are converting the, for example, oxide ore into oxide metal. Metal oxide is there. That metal oxide is converted into the particular metal. Okay, here what is happening in corrosion? The metal will be going back to its metal oxide state. Okay, so it is called as a rust. It will be visible in the form of either red or black color powder. Okay, so corrosion is a destruction or deterioration of a metal when it is exposed to atmospheric air or oxygen and moisture. Fine. So we can say we can tell this in different ways. It also happens when there are two different metals are in contact with each other. Okay, two different metals. Iron is in contact with copper. Iron is in contact with magnesium. Okay, magnesium in contact with some other metal, silver. Okay, silver is in contact with the copper. Okay, like that. Okay, if any two different metals are in contact with each other, what happens here? A galvanic cell will be set up. Okay, because the electrode potential of the each metal is different, right? So when the two metals are having different EMF, okay, when they are connected together, what happens? There will be a setting up of a galvanic cell. Once when a galvanic cell is set up, what happens? Anode and cathodic areas are formed. Okay, once when anode and cathodic areas are formed, what happens here? At anode oxidation will be taking place and at cathode reduction will be taking place, and finally there will be a formation of a rust. Okay, so here we are going to study about how the corrosion is going to happen on a metal. Okay, generally we will be considering the iron metal only. Okay, because of this corrosion, no, like every year, like lots and lots of hundreds of tons of metal is been getting wasted. Okay, in every countries. Okay, like because of the corrosion. Okay, you can just example is you can see the unused railway tracks, no, near railway stations. So many tracks will be left like that unused, no, it should have got corroded. So due to that we cannot use it, right? Okay, and you can also think about the Delhi pillar. Okay, Delhi pillar, like a few centuries before it was made. Okay, it is in a open place. It is exposed to atmospheric air and moisture, and always of course with the sun energy. Okay, heat, right? It is in an open place, but still it has not got corroded. Okay, almost 3 centuries over, it has not got corroded even a pinpoint. Okay, you can just think the knowledge of our ancestors. Okay, what they should have thought, to protect a metal from corrosion, that too in a open place. Okay, fine. We will start the electrochemical theory of corrosion here. Okay, as I said you, when two different metals are in contact with each other, okay, or when a metal is exposed to different air or oxygen concentration, what happens is there will be a formation of a galvanic cell. Okay, once when a galvanic cell is formed, what happens here is there will be reactions. Anode and cathode are formed, so anodic and cathodic reactions will be taking place here. Okay, I told the definition already. Okay, so at anode oxidation will be taking place. As we take always the example of iron, so at anode, what will be the reaction? Iron is there. Iron is oxidized to Fe2 plus with the liberation of electrons. At anode always oxidation will be taking place. What is the oxidation reaction here? Fe gives rise to Fe2 plus 2 electrons. Okay, and the cathodic reaction will be taking place in three different ways. Okay, three different ways it will be taking place. How it will be? Like in presence of air or oxygen, in absence of air or oxygen, and in a acidic medium, how the reactions will be taking place. Let us see. Cathodic reaction takes place in three different ways. First one, in presence of oxygen, what happens is the water reacts with the air or oxygen, and by accepting the electrons, it will get converted into hydroxyl ions. This reaction is very important. Until the end of the chapter, you need to remember this equation. Okay, everywhere, wherever the cathodic reason comes, we will be writing this equation. Okay, and what happens in the absence of air or oxygen? Just don't write air or oxygen here. Water accepts the electrons and will get converted to hydroxyl ions and hydrogen. In acidic medium, what is the reaction? In acidic medium, H plus ions are converted into hydrogen. Okay, so the cathodic reaction will be taking place in three different ways. I think it's clear till here. Anode, at anode, anodic reaction will be taking place. Iron get oxidized to Fe2 plus. Fine. Cathodic reaction will be taking place in three different ways. One in presence of air or oxygen, and the other in the absence of air or oxygen. Third one in acidic medium. Right. Now next step is very simple. The products of anodic and cathodic reaction will be reacting here. What are the products of anodic and cathodic reaction? Cathodic reaction, consider this one. Okay, the formation of the hydroxyl ions, because this will be most oftenly it will be happening. So consider this. Okay, so the products of anodic reaction is Fe2 plus, and this will be reacting with the hydroxyl ions. Okay, this hydroxyl ions it will be reacting with the, right. So it will be forming ferrous hydroxide, and the ferrous hydroxide it will be immediately forming the hydrated ferrous salt, that is called as a rust. I think I'm clear till here. We will see the next reactions. The products of the anodic and cathodic reaction are reacting here to form the corrosion product. See here, Fe2 plus reacts with the hydroxyl ions to form FeOH twice, ferrous hydroxide. The ferrous hydroxide, once again, when it comes in contact with the oxygen and moisture, it will be converted into ferric oxide, hydrated ferric oxide, that is Fe2O3, 2H2O, or it will be expressed as Fe3O4, 2H2O, that is visible to our naked eyes in the form of a red or black colored powder, that is often referred to as a rust. Okay, corroded. The iron metal got corroded. I think I am clear till here. Very simple. When a metal is in a contact with a different metal, that is two different metals are in contact with each other, or when a metal is exposed to different air or moisture concentration, what happens here is galvanic cell will be formed, and then anodic and cathodic reactions will be taking place. At anode, oxidation will be taking place. Iron will be oxidized to Fe2 plus. Cathodic reaction in three different ways: in presence of oxygen, in the absence of oxygen, and in acidic medium. The products of anodic and cathodic reaction reacts to form ferrous hydroxide. Ferrous hydroxide will be finally converted into the hydrated ferric salt, that is called as a rust. It is visible in the form of a either red color or black colored powder on a surface of a metal. Okay, this is about the electrochemical theory of corrosion. Okay, see, the corroded metal will be appearing like this. Nail will get corroded, it will appear like this, and the taps, old taps, very old ones, if they are not at all replaced, no, they will be appearing like this, and joint the water line pipes. Okay, these are all the corroded specimens. Fine. Okay, next we will be starting with the types of corrosion. Okay, there are different types of corrosion. Okay, we are going to discuss in our session about the differential metal corrosion and differential aeration corrosion. Very important according to the examination point of view. Okay, let us start first with the differential metal corrosion. Okay, which occurs already I told in the introduction part, when two different metals are in contact with each other. Two different metals. Okay, when I say two different metal, what happens here? Obviously, they will be having two different electrode potentials, right? Okay, so a galvanic cell is set up. Okay, a galvanic cell will be set up here. Okay, and the metal which is higher in the electrochemical series, no, always that will be acting as the metal which is lies higher in the electrochemical series acts as a anode and undergo corrosion. The metal which is below to the series will be always acting as a cathode and it will be always protected. Okay, I will show you the electrochemical series at the end of the every session. I will be showing you the slide, okay, which is having a electrochemical series. Okay, that is very important. If you know about the electrochemical series very well now, it is very easy to understand this chapter. Okay, now just for now, if you consider it is a series of elements arranged in their increasing order of their electrode potentials. Okay, you know, because you studied the same thing in your batteries chapter also. Okay, top which metals are there? The highly reactive metals like lithium, sodium, magnesium will be there, and then iron, and then hydrogen. Okay, and then positive metals will be there, electropositive metals will be there. Okay, here what happens when you take two metals in the electrochemical series, the metal which is present always in the up in the series will be highly reactive and that will be acting as anode. Okay, the one which is present next to it in the electrochemical series, no, or below to it in the electrochemical series will be always acting as a cathode and will be protected. Okay, when two metals we take, the metal which is highly active will be always acting as a anode, and the other one will be acting as a cathode. Always anode will get corroded. Anode will undergo oxidation and will get corroded, and the cathode will be usually protected. Okay, so for this type of corrosion, the examples are when steel screws are there. Okay, they are in contact with the brass or bronze equipment. Okay, steel pipeline is there that is connected to the copper plumbing. Okay, so see here two different types of metals are there. When two different metals are there, it will be having surely two different electrode potentials. And you know, you should know one more thing here. Greater is the difference in between the two metals are there, greater is the electrode potential between these two metals, greater will be the rate of corrosion that will be taking place. Okay, two metals are there which are having almost same, only slight difference is there in their electrode potential. For example, the rate of corrosion occurring there will be always lesser. Okay, the same thing we will be discussing in a factors affecting the rate of corrosion. There I will be taking the examples and explaining. Okay, so for explanation, if we consider iron is in contact with the copper, no, okay, what happens here? Since iron is in a top in the electrochemical series, iron will be acting as anode and will undergo oxidation and will get corroded. And copper, no, being below to the iron in the electrochemical series, it will get protected. Fine. Any metal if you take in the electrochemical series, the one which is present above will be always active and react as it is highly reactive, it will be acting as anode and will get corroded. The one which is connected to it, if it is present below to it, it will be acting as a cathode and will get protected. Fine. And the second type of corrosion is this is the examples for it. Copper in connection with iron, okay, or bronze, like this the corroded specimens will be occurring. Fine. We will go to the next type of corrosion, differential aeration corrosion. Very simple once again. Okay, what is this differential aeration corrosion? When a metal is exposed to different air or oxygen concentration, okay, this type of corrosion occurs. Okay, always know the part of the metal which is less aerated will be acting as a anode and will be undergoing corrosion from there. Okay, and the one which is exposed to higher oxygen concentration will be acting as a cathode. Okay, and always the corrosion will be starting from the anode and will be spreading to the whole metal. What do you mean here? A metal is exposed to different air or oxygen concentration. Like a nail is there in the wall. Nail. Okay, nail is there in the wall. What is happening here? Half of the nail part is inside the wall and remaining half is outside the wall, right? Okay, so in one nail, half of the part is less aerated and the part which is outside is more aerated. Understanding, right? Nail is there in the wall. Okay, half of the nail is in the wall, that is less aerated anodic area, and remaining half is outside, more aerated. Okay, means which is in contact with more air or oxygen. So that is cathode. Fine. Or a tank. Okay, iron tank is there. Okay, iron tank will be almost of the time it will be filled with partly with water. Okay, half of the tank will be almost of the time will be filled with water. So what happens? The area, the iron part which is below water is always anodic, and the area which is just above the water is always cathodic. The corrosion will be starting just from below the water line. Clear? If you understand this much, it's very easy. Okay, one area is less aerated anodic, more aerated it's cathodic. Okay, let us consider a iron rod dipped in a electrolyte or water. Okay, what happens here? The iron rod which is below water acts as a anode. Fine. And anodic reaction will be taking place from there. And the area which is above the water is always the cathodic. There the cathodic reaction will be taking place. I told you, dear friends, see this reaction always you should remember. It's very important. Okay, in presence of air or oxygen, the reaction now we write now, it's very important. The showing of the formation of the hydroxyl ions. Okay, what happens in presence of air or oxygen? Outside it is aerated. Now remember like that. Okay, outside it is aerated. So in presence of air, what's the reaction? In presence of air and moisture, it accepts the electrons and gets reduced to hydroxyl ions. And always the oxidation reaction is same. What is happening just below water? Okay, below water what is happening is the iron metal is there. Iron is undergoing oxidation. If you take zinc, zinc is undergoing oxidation to Zn2 plus. Okay, this is the typical diagram to express the differential aeration corrosion. Okay, under that waterline corrosion. Fine. So differential aeration corrosion is the one where it happens when a metal is exposed to different air or oxygen concentrations. Okay, so for that you can express generally like this. A iron rod is dipped in a electrolyte or water. Okay, the area which is below water is anodic and the area which is above the water is a cathodic. Always the corrosion will be starting from just below the water line. Okay, so differential aeration corrosion are of two types. The first one is water line corrosion. For water line corrosion, the example is a tank, iron tank filled almost of the time with partly with water. The area which is just below the water acts as anode and the area just above the water acts as a cathode, and anodic reaction will be taking place from just below the water line and the corrosion will be spreading to the whole metal. Or once again you can show the same example, a copper or iron rod or a zinc rod dipped in a electrolyte solution. The area which is under water is anodic. Anode will undergo corrosion, right? So the corrosion will be just spreading from just below the water line and will be spreading to the whole metal. Okay, for this the examples are the ships. No, it will be almost of the time which will be sailing on the water. Okay, and steel or water tank which will be filled with partly with water in almost of the times. Okay, so in the case of ships, what will happen? The area which is just beneath the water, no, from there the corrosion will be starts and will be spreading to the complete metal surface. Fine. This is one type of differential aeration corrosion, that is waterline corrosion. I think I am clear till here. Okay, once again the important points in this waterline corrosion are the area which is just below the water line acts as anode. Corrosion starts from there and you need to write always the anodic reaction is there, anodic reaction there. If you take iron as an example, right, Fe gives Fe2 plus 2 electrons. If you take zinc metal as an example, zinc is undergoing oxidation as Zn2 plus 2 electrons. And cathodic reaction common, you are writing always as a, in presence of oxygen and air, it accepts electrons and it will get reduced to hydroxyl ions. That you should show. And remaining, from electrochemical theory, we have studied how the corrosion occurs. Okay, anodic and cathodic products will be reacting to form corrosion. Okay, so this is one of a type of differential aeration corrosion. The other one is a pitting corrosion. Okay, before that see the diagrams for differential aeration corrosion, waterline corrosion. Okay, the pipelines are there underwater. The corrosion will be just spreading from just below the waterline. In the case of see the ships which is sailing on water, always corrosion will be spreading like this. It will be starting just from just below the water line and will be spreading to the whole metal. Fine. We'll go to the next type of differential aeration corrosion, that is pitting corrosion. Okay, this is a type of another type of differential aeration corrosion. For this example is, for example, a metal rod is there. See, this is iron metal rod. Okay, iron metal rod is there. Okay, on iron metal rod what is there? A dust or dirt is accumulated. Okay, dust or dirt is accumulated on a metal rod. So what happens? You can see the area which is just below the dust particle is less aerated. So this is anodic area, and the remaining the whole area, the complete area which is the complete area which is the other than the dust or dirt is cathodic. See, the complete area, all this area is cathodic. Okay, the area which is just below the dirt or dust is anodic. Okay, so here what is pitting corrosion? When a metal is there, okay, on the metal dust or dirt is accumulated. So the area which is just below the dirt is acting as a anodic area, and the remaining whole part of the metal is acting as a cathodic area. Okay, cathodic area. So what happens here? A galvanic cell is set up. When a metal is exposed to more or different air or oxygen concentrations, a galvanic cell is set up here. Okay, so what is anode here? The anode is the area which is just beneath the dust or dirt, and the cathode is the remaining complete part of the metal. Okay, so once this galvanic cell is set up, what happens now? There will be a formation of a small hole called pit. Okay, there will be a formation of a small hole just below the dust or dirt, that is called as a pit. Once this pit is formed, no, the corrosion will be spreading at a very faster rate. Okay, even this what I am telling now, you should remember until the end of the chapter. It's very important. We will be using wherever it is applicable. Smaller the anodic area and larger the cathodic area, greater will be the rate of corrosion. Okay, smaller the anodic area and larger the cathodic area. See here, anodic area is smaller, cathodic area, complete metal is a cathodic area only. So the rate of corrosion will be always higher. The complete metal, no, see the complete metallic area is a cathodic area. What is anodic area? Only the area which is just below the dust or dirt pit. This is a small anodic area. Remaining whole metal area is a cathodic area. Okay, so what you should remember here, smaller the anodic area and larger the cathodic area, always the rate of corrosion will be higher. Okay, and the reverse of it, larger the anodic area and smaller the cathodic area, corrosion will be always lesser. So once the pit is formed, the reaction will be taking place at a faster rate and the corrosion will be spreading to the metal. Okay, so this is about the pitting corrosion. Okay, so in pitting corrosion, there will be accumulation of dirt or dust on the metal surface. Okay, so when a metal is exposed to different air or oxygen concentration, a galvanic cell is set up. Okay, here anodic area is the area beneath the dust or dirt, and the cathodic area is the remaining part of the metal. Okay, once this galvanic cell is set up, a small hole will be formed, that is called as a pit. Once the pit is formed, the corrosion will be taking place at a higher rate. Okay, that is, you should remember here I said smaller the anodic area and larger the cathodic area, always greater will be the rate of corrosion. And in the other case, if the anodic area is large and cathodic area is lesser, always the corrosion will be proceeding at a lesser rate. Fine. This is about the explanation. Already I said. Okay, this is the electrochemical theory, friends. I told you, see whichever the metals you take, See for example, if you take iron and copper, we took example there, no? Okay, if you take iron and copper, iron is upper in the electrochemical series. Always iron will be acting as a anode and will get corroded when it is in contact with the copper. If you connect iron with the zinc, okay, zinc is connected with iron. So what will happen in this case? As zinc is more reactive than iron, zinc will act as anode and will get corroded and protect the metal iron. If you take manganese, okay, manganese and zinc are in contact with each other. What will happen in this case? Manganese being highly reactive, it will undergo corrosion and will protect the metal zinc. Okay, remember this. Only few examples is given here. Many metals are there in the series. I had given only the metals which we often take as examples in this chapter. Okay, so this is the electrochemical series. Okay, so here the metal which is present above is always highly reactive. It will be undergoing oxidation easily and will undergo corrosion. And when you take the other one which is below to it, okay, that will be acting as a cathode and will undergo corrosion in a slower rate. Okay, when these two metals are connected, now what will happen is the metal which is present above in the series will get corroded and the metal which is present below to it will get protected. Okay, so any metal you take here, any two metals, the one which is present upper will be undergoing corrosion and the one which is connected to it, which is below to it, will be protected. Okay, so you remember the electrochemical series. It is very important for all the topics in this chapter. Okay, so we will be meeting with the next content, okay, in the next session. Until then, thank you.